Tiger fans, it's Morgan here, and we're getting closer to college football season. Today, I wanted to discuss something I think will be key for Clemson in 2021, and that is stopping the big plays. Get in the comments, let me know what you think. But before you do that, make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and also follow us over on Facebook so you can stay up to date on all of our exclusive Clemson content we put out every single week. All right, Tiger fans. So I know this is a sore subject going into last year after how everything ended in the playoffs, but I did want to bring it up and talk about it and see what Clemson can do or think through what the Tigers can do on defense going into 2021. Now, Clemson, we know, is returning one of the best defenses in the nation. They finished tied for first in sacks at 46 with Pittsburgh in 2020. The defensive line has been ranked by many major recruiting expert or football analysts out there that they're the best defensive line in the nation. They also have finished number 2 overall in the nation with 109 total tackles for loss last year. And then they were top 10 in opponents' third down conversion rate at 31.21%. So the Tigers obviously have a top level defense, especially talking about getting to the quarterback, getting to the ball carrier behind the line of scrimmage, and also stopping you on third down. So we know the Tigers are really good at those things. Not only that, they're returning a ton of talent and experience on the defensive front, 7 as well. You look at Miles Murphy, Brian Bresee, Tyler Davis, Justin Foster, among Maskell, Henry, Thomas as well. And then behind them, you have Spector, Skalski, and Simpson, all guys who played last year who are just going to continue to get better and bring that last year's experience and heartbreak to the table so that they can improve for 2021. So we know they have a stacked defense. We know Clemson's defense is going to be one of the best in the nation, or we assume so because of all those things that they're returning, players they're returning. But for me, the key is stopping big plays, especially when you look at big plays compared to the other top teams. So you look at Oklahoma, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, and Clemson. When you take those 5 teams and you look at the big plays allowed from scrimmage, starting from 10 yards plus and up, Clemson, of those 5 groups of teams, or that 5 group of teams, you've got Clemson was last in 30-plus yards at 27 total. Looking at the opponent that Clemson is getting ready to play, Georgia, they had 16 total. So about 11 difference there for the Tigers. Then 40-plus yards given up. The Tigers for 2020 had 17 total. Georgia compared had 6, so about another 11 difference there. And then for 50-plus yards, Clemson was last in that group of 5 at 8 total plays given up, while as Georgia on the other end had 4, so half of that number as well. So the Tigers were struggling in 2020 to prevent those big plays in 30-plus yards, 40-plus yards, and 50-plus yards when compared to other top teams in the nation. So how can the Tigers improve in that area? And you're probably saying, Morgan, what do you know? You're just a radio guy. You're just a talking head. Yeah, you're right. I know. I don't know anything. But I think that Brent Venables, and I am confident that Brent Venables knows what to do and has already talked about the things that he has in place to improve that. Specifically, we know from the Ohio State game that many of those big plays that were given up, Clemson was just not in position. They were not ready pre-snap. And Brent Venables, that was one of the first answers that he had in his first press conference going into the fall camps, was that they were going to improve on getting in position quickly and getting the call from the sideline as fast as possible. And also learning that you can be in position and not get the call yet, so that you're not out of position just looking on the sideline like we saw at the end of the season. So that's the first thing. But the second thing for me is really, I would say, the tight end play that really has always bothered me. If you are a fan of the show, I get worried about the tight end play. When there are elite tight ends at play against Clemson, it really falls on those linebackers, in my opinion. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, Morgan, you got to talk about the secondary. You got to talk about Nolan Turner and Charleston and Landon Zanders. And I know those players definitely need to improve on protecting themselves against those big 30, 40, 50-yard over-the-top plays. I think in some ways it may be good to kind of back off of being the best team in the nation in sacks and tackles for loss maybe be the 5th best team in sacks and tackles for loss to give up a little bit less of those deep plays. Maybe that's an option. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just giving out some of my ideas that I have. And then going back to tight end, I really feel like when you look at Ohio State, Boston College, Notre Dame, they all had really good starting tight end, number 1 tight ends, and they were able to kind of go across the middle and have their way a little bit against Clemson until for BC they locked down, and then for the second round for Notre Dame they locked down as well. But for Ohio State, they didn't get a second chance. That was one and done, and they weren't able to make it to the national championship game. So going into this game against Georgia, I think it's another big deal for Clemson because they have Darnell Washington, who is an elite tight end. They also have Eric Gilbert, who is, kind of that hybrid guy who's going to be a wide receiver, but can definitely get in there and play that, tight end type position and run those routes as well. So I think Clemson definitely needs to focus on those things. If I were Brent Venables, of course I'm not. I have a lot less money and probably not as good of a defensive coordinator as him, but let us know what you think in the comments. Those are my 2 cents or $2 bill, if you will, if you're a Clemson fan. Let us know what you think in the comments. Put it in there. Am I completely wrong, or you think something else maybe Clemson needs to work on? But the big plays, I think, will definitely be key for Clemson. And I wouldn't say getting rid of them altogether, because you can't get rid of them altogether. But I will say improving on those numbers from last year will be key in how Clemson will perform, not only in the regular season, but the key is against those top 5 teams that Clemson will likely face if they make it into the playoffs. Hey, if you like this video, make sure you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel, as well as follow us over on Facebook.